Stop what you're doing right now. I need you to pause, take a breath, and read every single word of what I'm about to share with you, because this message didn't find you by accident. You didn't stumble onto this video by coincidence. You didn't just happen to scroll past this at this exact moment in your life. No, there is something far greater at work here. And if you're a parent, especially if you are a mother or a father who has been watching your daughter struggle, watching her fight battles you can barely see, watching her lose pieces of herself one day at a time, then this message was written specifically for you. Write 44 in the comments if you believe God still speaks through ordinary moments, because this is one of those moments. Part 1. The daughter you raised is still in there. You remember who she was. You remember the little girl who ran through the house barefoot, laughing at nothing and everything at the same time. You remember the way she looked at you like you were the entire world, like you had every answer, like nothing could ever go wrong as long as you were in the room. You remember her dreams, the ones she told you about at the dinner table, the ones she drew in crayon and stuck to the refrigerator, the ones she whispered to you in the dark when she couldn't sleep. That girl is still there. But somewhere between then and now, something happened. Life happened. And not just the ordinary kind of life, the hard kind. The kind that reaches into a young woman's chest and slowly, quietly begins pulling things out of her. Her confidence, her joy, her sense of safety, her belief that she is worthy of love, worthy of protection, worthy of a future that actually belongs to her. Maybe it was a relationship that left scars she doesn't know how to talk about. Maybe it was a group of people, friends, colleagues, even family, who slowly convinced her that she was too much or never enough. Maybe it was failure after failure, rejection after rejection, until the fire in her eyes started to dim and she stopped talking about her dreams the way she used to. Maybe you watched it happen and didn't know what to do. Maybe you're watching it happen right now. Write 44 in the comments if your daughter or a daughter you know is in a season like this. Because I need you to understand something before we go any further. What your daughter is experiencing is not weakness. It is not a character flaw. It is not proof that she failed or that you failed as a parent. What is happening to her is a spiritual, emotional, and psychological battle, and the enemy of her destiny knows exactly what he is doing. They are planning to bring her down, and they have been working on it for longer than you realize. Now, I need you to lean in because this is where it gets real. There is a strategy, a deliberate, calculated strategy designed to target daughters who carry greatness. Not average greatness, extraordinary greatness. The kind that changes families, the kind that breaks generational curses, the kind that influences communities, raises nations, and shifts the spiritual atmosphere of an entire bloodline. Your daughter is one of those daughters, and they know it. The plan is not complicated, but it is deeply effective. It works in stages, and most parents, most daughters never even see it coming until it has already done significant damage. Stage 1 is isolation. The plan always begins with separating her from the people who truly see her. It starts subtly, a friendship that slowly becomes toxic, a romantic relationship that gradually makes her feel like she needs permission to breathe, a workplace or environment that rewards her silence and punishes her authenticity. Before long, she finds herself surrounded by people, but completely alone. And in that loneliness, the lies begin. Stage 2 is identity erosion. Once she is isolated, the next step is to make her forget who she is. This happens through criticism that is disguised as concern, through comparison that is disguised as motivation, through spiritual confusion that is disguised as enlightenment. She begins to question everything, her faith, her values, her gifts, her worth. She starts apologizing for taking up space. She starts shrinking herself to fit into rooms that were never meant to contain her. She starts becoming someone else entirely, and the tragedy is that most of the time, she doesn't even notice it happening. Stage 3 is the surrender. After isolation, after identity erosion, the final stage of the plan is to get her to give up, not dramatically, not in one big moment, but slowly, quietly.
She stops applying for the opportunity. She stays in the situation she knows she should leave. She silences the dream. She tells herself it's too late. She's too broken. She missed her window. She convinces herself that the life she settled for is the life she deserves. And if no one intervenes, if no one sees what is happening and speaks up, the plan works. Write 44 in the comments if you refuse to let that be her story.
Part 3. The chosen ones always face the greatest resistance. I want you to think about every great woman you have ever admired. Every woman who built something from nothing. Every woman who rose after she was buried. Every woman who stood in a room full of doubt and chose to believe anyway. Every woman whose name you know because her story outlasted the pain that tried to erase her. Every single one of them went through a season that looked exactly like what your daughter is going through right now. Resistance is not a sign that she is losing. Resistance is a sign that she is carrying something worth fighting for. Think about a diamond. A diamond does not become what it is in comfortable conditions. It becomes what it is under extraordinary pressure, over an extraordinary period of time, deep beneath the surface where no one can see. And when it finally emerges, when it is finally brought into the light, there is nothing else like it in the world. Its value comes precisely from what it endured. Your daughter is that diamond. The pressure she is under right now is not going to break her. It is forming her. But she needs to know that. She needs to hear it from someone who believes it before she can begin to believe it herself. She needs a voice in her life that speaks truth louder than the lies that have been accumulating. She needs someone to remind her that chosen ones don't live easy lives. They live meaningful ones. Like the comments if you are committed to showing up for your daughter in this way. Part 4. What you must do right now. So what do you do with this information? You're a parent, you're watching, you're worried. You love her more than she knows. But love without action is just emotion. And right now, your daughter needs more than emotion. She needs intervention. And I want to be very clear about what that intervention looks like, because a lot of well-meaning parents make the mistake of thinking that intervention means control. It does not. You do not rescue your daughter by taking over her life. You do not rescue her by issuing ultimatums or making her feel more trapped than she already does. You do not rescue her by letting your fear drive your actions, because fear-driven love always pushes away the people it's trying to reach. You rescue your daughter by becoming the safest place she has ever known. That starts with a conversation, not a lecture, not an intervention in the dramatic sense of the word, a real conversation. The kind where you sit down, you put away every distraction, you look her in the eyes, and you say words she may not have heard in a long time. You say, "I see you." Not the version of you that shows up for everyone else, not the version of you that holds everything together and never asks for help. I see the real you. The one who is tired, the one who is scared, the one who has been fighting alone for too long. I see her, and I am not going anywhere. You tell her her history. You remind her of the girl she was before the world got to her. You remind her of her gifts, not in a pressure-filled way, not in a way that makes her feel like she's failing to live up to a standard, but in a way that anchors her. Because somewhere in the storm, she forgot where she came from. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone who is lost is simply remind them of home. You pray with her if you are a person of faith, and even if your faith has been tested in this season, you bring that faith into the room with you. You pray out loud. You speak over her life. You declare that the plan against her will not succeed. You declare that the evening gift buried inside her is still alive. You declare that the enemy does not get the final word over her story. And then you stay. You don't show up once and disappear. You stay. You check in. You follow up.
You make her feel week after week, day after day, that she is not alone in this, that someone who truly knows her is still watching, still believing, still fighting alongside her. Type the comment if you are committed to showing up for your daughter in this way. Part 5. The turning point is already coming. Now, I want to speak directly to every daughter watching this, because I know some of you found this not through a parent, but on your own. You found this because something in you is still searching. Something in you still believes that there is more. Something in you refuses to accept that the chapter you are living right now is the final chapter of your story. And that something is right. The fact that you are still here, still watching, still reading, still trying to find the words for what you're going through is itself a miracle. There are people who stopped searching. There are people who closed every door and decided that what they settled for is what they deserved. You are not one of those people. You are still hungry for your purpose. You are still angry deep down at the version of your life that never matched the vision you once had. You are still grieving the dreams you put away, and grief only exists for things that mattered. Your dreams mattered. They still do. The turning point is already coming. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know from the inside your life feels like a series of dead ends and wrong turns and doors that closed before you could walk through them. But I need you to understand something about turning points. They almost never announce themselves in advance. They show up quietly. They show up in conversations you didn't plan to have. They show up in moments where something inside you says, "This is it. This is the moment everything changes." This is that moment for someone watching right now.
Part 6. Break the cycle. Change the legacy. I want to end with something that extends beyond the individual. Because what we're really talking about here is not just one daughter. We're talking about a generation of daughters. We're talking about a legacy. Every woman who breaks free from the plan designed to destroy her does not just change her own life. She changes the lives of the daughters she will raise. She changes the stories that will be told about her family for decades. She breaks patterns that have been running through her bloodline for generations, patterns of silence, patterns of settling, patterns of believing that small was safe and invisible was protection. When your daughter rises, she takes her children with her. She takes her grandchildren with her. She reaches back through time and forward into eternity, and the impact of her breakthrough cannot be calculated. This is why the plan against her was so aggressive. This is why the resistance has been so intense. This is why it has felt like so much has been working against her at once. Because the enemy understands the math. He knows what one woman's full liberation is worth. He knows that if she breaks free, the ripple effect is incalculable. He cannot afford for her to make it. But she will, because she was chosen, because you were chosen to be her parent, her friend, her protector, her witness. Because the same power that has carried every woman before her through impossible seasons is still available to her today. This message was not an accident. You were supposed to see it. You were supposed to feel the weight of it. You were supposed to carry it out of this video and into the real world. Into a phone call, into a conversation, into a prayer, into a decision to finally say the things you have been holding back. Your daughter needs you. Not a perfect version of you. Not a version of you that has all the answers. She needs the real you. Flawed, frightened, fighting, and fully committed to her. Go to her. Say the words, make the call, write the message, show up. Because the plan against her is real, but so is the love that was placed in your heart for her before she ever took her first breath. And love, when it decides to move, is the most powerful force in this world.
Write 44 in the comments. Share this with every parent who needs to hear it. And don't you dare give up on your daughter, because she has not given up on becoming who she was always meant to be.